Do you think these conjoined twins look unreal? Then, you will definitely be shocked by what I'm about to show you today. Twins with fused faces and heads, sisters with one body but no legs, a parasitic twin, and more. You are not ready for this. Imagine having a connection with someone so deep that you can see through their eyes, feel their emotions, and even hear their thoughts. Sounds like something out of science fiction, right? But for Krista and Tatiana Hogan, this is their everyday reality. These remarkable twins, born in Canada in 2006, are conjoined at the head in an extremely rare condition known as craniopagus. But what makes them truly extraordinary is that their brains are physically connected, creating a neurological link unlike anything science has ever seen. Doctors discovered early on that the Hogan twins share something called a thalamic bridge, which means their brains are literally wired together. This allows them to experience the world in ways no other humans can. When one sees an object, the other knows what it is, even if their own eyes are closed. If one drinks juice, the other can taste it. If one laughs, the other might start laughing without even knowing why. It's as if they live in two bodies but share a single consciousness, a phenomenon that has left even neuroscientists completely baffled. Despite their condition, Krista and Tatiana live as regular kids, playing, learning, and growing together. Their personalities are distinct. One is more outgoing while the other is quiet. But they always seem to know what the other is thinking. Medical experts have studied their case closely, trying to understand what their unique connection means for the human brain. Could they actually be reading each other's minds? Could their shared senses hold the key to understanding how consciousness really works? The Hogan twins continue to amaze the world, proving that the human brain is capable of things we never imagined. Not all conjoined twins live in the spotlight of medical research. Some, like Ganga and Jamuna Mondal, embrace their uniqueness and carve out their own path in life. Born in India, these extraordinary sisters are joined at the abdomen and share a body with 4 arms and 3 legs, earning them the nickname the Spider Sisters. For years, they struggled to fit into a world that didn't understand them. Shunned by their village and rejected by schools, they had no choice but to join a traveling circus, where people paid to stare at them like a sideshow attraction. But Ganga and Jamuna didn't let their condition define them. Instead of hiding, they took control of their narrative, performing in fairs, and even finding love. What makes them even more incredible is that, despite sharing nearly everything, including vital organs, they function as 2 completely independent people. They argue, they joke, they have different likes and dislikes, and yet, they move in perfect synchronization, navigating the world with a rhythm only they understand. Their bond is unbreakable, not just physically but emotionally, showing that even the most unusual lives can be lived on their own terms. But not all conjoined twins choose to live as one. Some carve out distinct lives despite never being physically apart. Lori and Dory Chappell, born in Pennsylvania in 1961, are an astonishing example of how 2 people can be so close, yet so completely different. Unlike Ganga and Jamuna, who performed together, Lori and Dory built separate careers, interests, and even identities. Lori pursued a career as a hospital worker, while Dory became a country music singer, performing for thousands while her sister simply sat beside her, uninterested in the spotlight. But that's not the only shocking part. In 2007, Dory publicly announced that she identified as a man, making them one of the only known cases of conjoined twins with different gender identities. Yet, despite these stark differences, they live their lives in harmony, proving that physical limitations don't dictate personal identity. Their case continues to puzzle doctors. How can 2 people who share part of the same brain have such independent minds? And just when you think conjoined twins couldn't get more unusual, there's Manar Majed, a little girl whose case was so rare, it stunned doctors worldwide. Some cases of conjoined twins are so rare that even seasoned doctors are left speechless. One such case is Manar Majed, an Egyptian girl born with a parasitic twin attached to her skull. But unlike other conjoined twins, Manar's twin wasn't fully formed. It had no body, no heart, no limbs, only a head that could blink, smile, and even respond to touch. It was as if a second person existed but had no way to survive on its own. Manar's condition, known as craniopagus parasiticus, is one of the rarest in the world, with only a handful of cases ever recorded. Doctors knew the parasitic twin had to be removed, but the surgery was incredibly risky. Separating the 2 heads meant cutting blood vessels and nerves that had never been meant to exist independently. After a complex 10-hour operation, Manar became the first baby in history to survive this kind of procedure. But despite the medical triumph, tragedy followed. Just a year later, complications took her life. Her case remains one of the most shocking in medical history, proving that the human body can develop in ways beyond comprehension. If Manar Megid's case was a battle against the impossible, Abby and Brittany Hensel are proof that some conjoined twins don't just survive, they thrive. Born in 1990 in the United States, Abby and Brittany are dicephalic parapagus twins, meaning they share one body but have two completely separate heads, brains, and personalities. What makes them so incredible isn't just their condition, it's how effortlessly they navigate life as one. They drive, they swim, they even play sports. But the most mind-blowing part? Each twin controls only one side of the body. Abby moves the right arm and leg while Brittany controls the left, yet somehow, they've mastered the impossible, working together with a coordination that defies logic. Despite having different preferences and interests, they function as a single unit, seamlessly moving through the world in a way that leaves doctors in awe. Their ability to live such a synchronized life has led to endless fascination. How do they decide what to eat? How do they write? How do they manage their independence? The Hensel twins have answered those questions by simply living their lives, proving that two minds can truly exist in perfect harmony within one body. Long before modern medicine could even attempt separating conjoined twins, there were Chang and Eng Bunker, the brothers who gave rise to the term Siamese twins. Born in Siam, now Thailand, in 1811, the Bunker twins were joined at the chest by a short band of flesh. Unlike many conjoined twins who share organs, Chang and Eng were lucky. Their connection was purely external. But in the 19th century, there was no surgical expertise to separate them, so they had to navigate life as a permanent pair. At just 18 years old, they were taken to America and exhibited as a spectacle. But rather than being reduced to sideshow performers, they seized control of their own lives, making a fortune from their appearances and eventually settling down in North Carolina. And here's where their story gets truly bizarre. They married two sisters, had a total of 21 children, and managed to live mostly separate lives by alternating between their two households every 3 days. They even disagreed politically, with one supporting the Confederacy and the other opposing it. But their fate was bound together in every sense. When Chang suffered a stroke and died, Eng followed just hours later, unable to survive without him. Their legacy remains unmatched, a reminder of how two individuals can shape history while sharing one existence. If Chang and Eng proved that conjoined twins could build a family, Maria and Consolata Mwakikuti proved they could achieve something just as incredible: higher education. Born in Tanzania in 1996, the twins were joined at the abdomen and shared both legs, which meant moving required perfect coordination. From the moment they were born, doctors doubted they would live long, let alone attend school. But Maria and Consolata defied every expectation. Despite physical challenges, they excelled academically, attending school and refusing to let their condition hold them back. They learned to write, type, and even play games together, proving that determination can overcome any obstacle. Their dream was to become teachers, and their story gained global attention when they enrolled in university to study education. Tragically, their journey was cut short when health complications led to their passing in 2018, but their story left a powerful impact. Maria and Consolata shattered the notion that conjoined twins couldn't live fulfilling intellectual lives. They weren't just survivors, they were pioneers. Most conjoined twins face serious health complications that shorten their lives, but Ronnie and Donnie Gallion defied every expectation. Born in 1951 in the United States, they were joined at the abdomen, sharing everything from their digestive system to their lower body. Doctors warned their parents that survival past infancy was nearly impossible, but Ronnie and Donnie lived to be 68 years old, making them the longest-living conjoined twins in history. From an early age, it was clear that separation was not an option. Unlike twins who share only skin or minor organs, Ronnie and Donnie's bodies were too intertwined to be safely split apart. So, instead of focusing on what they couldn't do, they found a way to make life work. In their younger years, they appeared in sideshows and carnivals, using their earnings to support their family. Over time, they became minor celebrities in the medical world, studied by doctors and featured in documentaries about their extraordinary lives. Despite the challenges of navigating a world designed for single bodies, they found happiness in routine, humor, and family. Their record-breaking life ended in 2020, leaving behind a story of resilience and brotherhood that amazed the world. But while Ronnie and Donnie's case was about longevity, some conjoined conditions are so unusual that they challenge the very definition of what a human body can be, like Lakshmi Tatma, the girl who was born with 4 arms and 4 legs. If myths of Hindu gods coming to life ever had a real-world parallel, Lakshmi Tatma would be it. Born in India in 2005, Lakshmi had 4 arms and 4 legs, a condition caused by a parasitic twin that never fully developed. In a country where spirituality and medicine often intertwine, some saw her as a living incarnation of the goddess Lakshmi, who is traditionally depicted with multiple limbs. Her parents were torn between awe and fear. Was their daughter a miracle, or would she face a lifetime of suffering? The reality was far more medical than mythical. Lakshmi's extra limbs weren't functional, they were part of an undeveloped twin fused to her body. While she could move her head and arms like any normal child, the additional limbs made basic movement impossible. As she grew older, it became clear that she would need surgery, not just for mobility, but for survival. In a marathon 27-hour operation, a team of 30 surgeons successfully removed the parasitic twin, allowing Lakshmi to live a normal life. Today she is thriving, proving that even the most extreme conditions can be overcome with science, skill, and determination. For most conjoined twins, simple everyday tasks are a challenge. But for Sona and Mona, their shared body didn't stop them from pursuing an art that requires both precision and coordination: music. Born in India in 2003, the brothers are joined at the torso and share a liver, gallbladder, and legs, but have separate hearts and spinal cords. Despite their physical limitations, their natural talent for playing musical instruments set them apart from other conjoined twins. From an early age, Sona and Mona developed an interest in music, mastering instruments like the harmonium and keyboard with impressive skill. While most people struggle to coordinate both hands, these twins must work together, each controlling different parts of the instrument to produce a single, harmonious sound. Their ability to function as one has earned them admiration across India, and they've even performed in public events, showcasing their remarkable abilities. But their journey hasn't been easy. Like many conjoined twins, they were abandoned as infants and grew up in an orphanage. It wasn't until later in life that they were given a chance to follow their passion and prove that their condition wasn't a limitation, it was a gift. Their story is a reminder that talent, determination, and the will to succeed can shine through, no matter the odds. While Sona and Mona used their unique bond to bring music into the world, other conjoined twins weren't so lucky. Some were seen not as people, but as scientific experiments, like Masha and Dasha Krivoshlyapova, the Soviet twins who endured a lifetime of cruel medical testing. If there's a case of conjoined twins that veers into the realm of horror, it's that of Masha and Dasha Krivoshlyapova. Born in the Soviet Union in 1950, these sisters should have lived a life of love and care. Instead, they became subjects in a decades-long medical experiment, treated more like lab rats than human beings. Their condition was already unusual. They were dicephalic parapagus twins, meaning they had separate heads but shared a single body with 2 arms and 2 legs. However, their internal systems were a medical mystery. Each girl controlled one side of their body, but they had separate immune systems and circulatory functions. This led Soviet doctors to see them as a golden opportunity for unethical medical research. From infancy, they were taken from their mother and placed in a secret medical institute, where they were subjected to cruel experiments. Doctors tested their immune responses by injecting one with diseases to see if the other would get sick. They exposed them to extreme temperatures, electric shocks, and even starvation to study their shared physiology. Their entire childhood was spent in laboratories, their pain ignored in the name of science. Despite the horrors they endured, Masha and Dasha survived into adulthood, but their differences eventually tore them apart. Masha was dominant, controlling, and harsh, while Dasha was quiet and submissive. As they aged, Masha's lifestyle of heavy drinking and smoking began to take a toll on their shared body. When she died in 2003, doctors knew Dasha wouldn't survive long without her sister. Just 17 hours later, she too passed away, marking the end of one of the most disturbing cases of conjoined twins in history. Some conjoined twins are remembered for their unusual anatomy, while others leave a mark on history through talent and resilience. Millie and Christine McCoy, born in 1851 in North Carolina, were not only joined at the lower spine, but they were also born into slavery. Their lives began in the most tragic way possible. They were sold multiple times as infants, treated as a commodity rather than human beings. But despite this horrific start, they rose to fame, not as sideshow attractions, but as gifted musicians and performers. Nicknamed the Two-Headed Nightingale, Millie and Christine stunned audiences with their perfectly synchronized singing. Their voices blended so well that it often seemed as if only one person was singing, even though they spoke and thought separately. As they grew older, they learned multiple languages and toured across the United States and Europe, performing for royalty and large crowds. They weren't just a spectacle, they were artists. But their journey wasn't just about entertainment. Millie and Christine fought for their independence, and when slavery was abolished, they used their fame to advocate for civil rights and education for formerly enslaved people. Unlike many conjoined twins of their era, they lived a dignified life, choosing how they were seen by the world. When they passed away in 1912, it was as free women who had turned their tragedy into triumph. But not all conjoined twins find peace in their bond. Some desperately long for separation, even when the risks are deadly, like Ladan and Laleh Bijani, the Iranian twins who risked everything for freedom. For some conjoined twins, being together is a blessing. For Ladan and Laleh Bijani, it was a prison. From the moment they were born in Iran in 1974, they knew they were different. Unlike other twins who learned to live as one, Ladan and Laleh had drastically different personalities. Ladan was introverted and bookish, dreaming of becoming a journalist, while Laleh was outgoing and adventurous, hoping to be a lawyer. But no matter how much they wanted to live separate lives, their skulls were fused together, forcing them to move in the same direction, literally. For decades, doctors told them separation was impossible. Their brains were so intertwined that a surgery could be fatal, but they refused to give up. In 2003, at 29 years old, they finally found a team of surgeons in Singapore willing to attempt the unthinkable. The operation was one of the riskiest in medical history, requiring nearly 30 hours of surgery and a team of dozens of doctors. It was their one shot at individual lives. But the human body isn't always meant to be divided. As the surgery progressed, doctors discovered that their brains shared too many blood vessels. Despite their best efforts, both Ladan and Laleh died on the operating table, just hours apart. Their story remains one of the most tragic cases of conjoined twins in history. Two sisters so desperate to be free that they were willing to pay the ultimate price. Born in 1908 in England, Daisy and Violet Hilton were conjoined at the hip, but had separate organs, meaning they could have been separated. But, their early caretakers saw them as money-making machines rather than children. From infancy, they were put on display, trained as performers, and forced into vaudeville entertainment, where they wowed crowds with their singing, dancing, and musical talents. As they grew older, their fame skyrocketed. They performed alongside Hollywood legends and even starred in the controversial 1932 film Freaks. But behind the glamour, they were exploited and controlled, earning millions but never seeing a dime. After finally winning their independence, they struggled to maintain their careers, eventually working in a grocery store to make ends meet. Once adored by thousands, they died in obscurity, their story a tragic reminder of how fame can be both a gift and a curse. Unlike most conjoined twins who adapt to movement, Giacomo and Giovanni Tocci, born in Italy in the late 1800s, never even learned to walk. They were joined at the lower body with two fully developed heads, torsos, and arms, but only two legs. Instead of learning to move as one, they relied on servants and family members to carry them everywhere, making them even more unusual than most conjoined twins. From a young age, they became a medical curiosity, studied by doctors and exhibited across Europe. Crowds flocked to see them, fascinated by how two minds could exist in a single body. But after years of being displayed, they retired in their 20s, vanishing from public life with the fortune they had made. No one knows when or how they died, as records of their later years are scarce. Their mysterious disappearance only deepened the fascination surrounding them, making them one of history's strangest cases of conjoined twins. Born in 2022 in Pakistan, Minal and Mirha were conjoined at the head, one of the rarest and riskiest forms of conjoined twinning. Their skulls were fused together, but what made their case even more complex was that their brains were intertwined, making separation incredibly dangerous. Doctors feared that any attempt could leave them permanently disabled, or worse. Yet, in 2024, a groundbreaking surgery took place. A team of expert surgeons spent more than 24 hours carefully separating their delicate brain tissues and blood vessels. It was one of the most complex operations ever attempted, but against all odds, both sisters survived. Now, Minal and Mirha are recovering and adapting to their new lives as individuals. Their story is a testament to how far modern medicine has come, and a glimpse into what could be possible for conjoined twins in the future. What was once seen as impossible is now a medical miracle. That's about it. Write in the comments which Siamese twins shocked you the most. For more useful information, watch other videos.